Okay, guys, welcome to another top five here. We're going to be doing a top five solo laners. I have not been playing much solo laners. I had a ton of fun playing the solo lanes actually recently when the first patch came out. I'm a big Hercules, Cabrakan, Chaac, all of those gods, Bellona, pretty much all of them are in the top five right now. There is a couple honorable mentions that I do think I may start. My first video that I did was junglers. It was quite rushed because I had kids coming in from outside. I might go redo that one, but probably not in this patch. Probably for the next patch, the OB16 patch, when Giannis comes out. But we'll see how it goes. So the top five is with two honorable mentions. We're going to actually switch our honorable mentions to right before our number one god. I don't know if anybody else does that. I've watched a few top fives, mostly like Weekend and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't really care about his suggestions. I think the guy is very, really good, but he's not a solo laner. He's a jungler. You have Intersect, who does quite a bit of solo lane. You have Final K, who does a lot of solo laning, basically all he really does. And then you have like Snatty. You also have Solo or Troll, I think is his name. They're all really good solo laners here. Like really top tier, way better than I am. But I want to put these out here because I do think that even the new players can benefit from knowing a top 5, 2, 1. So we'll start off with the 5 god. We probably should go into solo lanes here. All of them are in solo lane here, but it's pretty simple. 5 god for me is Bellona. I think she is absolutely cracked. She's very, very good. She's not as good as she used to before Vital Amplifier got nerfed. But because of Vital Amplifier getting nerfed, let me just make sure here that you guys are actually, yeah, you guys are able to see it. Good. So before Vital Amplifier got nerfed, it was cool. We're gonna create our build. I do want to see if we can actually publicize these builds here. We'll see while we go through this. It's a little more funky, but I want to do it. So basically, with her, you don't want to run the standardized starter items. A lot of people are running like Sunder or Bluestone. I personally believe that you run Death Toll on this chick. She is absolutely cracked, and she can really do it. So we'll throw Death Toll there. We'll throw there. Now, a lot of this stuff is based on certain things. So your relic, you don't have to always go shell. I've been going a lot of shell, but I've actually been experimenting a lot with beads and stuff. With Bellona, I think beads is very prominent on her. You can go blink, you can go Sunder, guys. You can go one of these 4. You can go Sunder, shell, blink, or beads. It really does depend on which one. You guys can go the agility relic. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, you never know. With her, I like to just start with overdoing it. So I get a chalice and 2 pots. So then you don't usually have enough to buy anything else. However, you can drop the pot if you guys wish to. Let's see if we can just maybe delete the pot. How do I do that? Whatever. We can just delete the pot. I don't know how to do that, but yeah. How do you just delete something? Whatever, we'll just go back and redo it. I need to learn how to delete stuff. This is kind of a stupid thing. But anyways, so we got Death Embrace, Death Toll, that, and we're just going to go into our thing here. So we want to start off with Vital Amplifier, which I think is the Sash. This is the item that you want to start off with. I think it's 300 gold. Is that the right one that I want to start with? Is it the one lower? Nope, this is the one. Sorry, that's the one you want. You want this one. That's 300. I was like, the other one's 1,000. That's a lot expensive. So this is kind of how your starting build will work. And then you're wanting to go right into Vital Amplifier. It procs very well with Bellona. The one thing you guys do want to be noticing is make sure you guys are fighting with your 3 and your 1, not your 2. The 2 is great if you need a little bit of extra range, but your 1 builds up block stacks for you, and your 3 heals you. Vital Amplifier stacks off the heal. So that's what you kind of want to be rocking with the Death Toll and the Vital Amplifier. Now, everybody that I seem to like, we go into, I don't know, this is kind of like how I personally go into a lot of my builds, is Regrow Striders. And then the first item is really dependent. So if you're against a magical god, you can go Sanguine Lash here. If not, most of the time you're fighting a physical god recently, so it's Regrow Striders into Sanguine Lash. These 2 items are just insane together, and it procs all the time. I also believe in Nemean is my next item, wherever it happens to be right now. I think Nemean is, for the stats, it's amazing, right? You're lacking HP in this build here, well, except in the Vital Amplifier. So you're lacking HP in these 2 items, so this kind of makes up for that HP. It also reflects 40 premitigated basic attack and 20. So if you guys are proccing this properly in a fight, you guys are going to be reflecting like 1,000 damage, and maybe even 1,000 damage between everybody. But still, like 250 off 4 different gods is still 250 HP off 4 different gods, right? In the time that you have it. So I also like going into this if they have a lot of healing. It's Contagion, wherever that item. Oh, that's an HP item, right? Contagion, there it is. And then Contagion into a Spirit Robe for me personally. Um, this last slot, you can go into a lot of different items. You can go into Pridwin or whatever. We're just going to put situational here. You can put a Pridwin here. Let's see if we can find all these items here. So Pridwin, you can put here. You also can put a Freya's Tear. If you want to be more attack speedy, you can put a Tearfing. This is all super situational, guys. On you guys, you can go into a Glad Shield. I think Glad Shield's actually got pretty good since it now has 30 physical prots. And where's the last item? I need Mystical Mail, wherever that is. There it is. Mystical Mail. So, I think this is pretty. You can play her aspect or non-aspect. I don't think there's really much of a difference right now. Personally, I like to play her with aspect because I'm not really relying on the build at the end of it all. So we're just going to do Bellona. We want to mark these. OB 15 Bellona. We'll just go power. Actually, we'll go damage, tank, build, something like that. Something simple. We do want to, that's kind of how this works, guys. Just remember that it's pretty straightforward. I think she's really strong, but yeah, we'll save it. Hopefully, good. It didn't click the aspect, which is really annoying. I don't know why. Okay, it's weird. It did. Weird. Whatever. Now we're going right into our fourth god, which to me is kind of was a harder choice in my opinion. But I actually think it's kind of a weird choice. I don't even. Oh, she is here. Nemesis with aspect. Nemesis aspect is cracked. I love her in solo lane. I don't really like her in jungle, but I love her in solo lane. I even tried her in support a little bit. I actually quite like her in support too. Just so you guys are aware. But I really like her in solo. So her build is a little bit different. She doesn't really do too much difference in my opinion, but her build does go a little bit different than other people's builds. So her starter, we're actually doing Sundering Axe. The reason I say we're doing Sundering Axe is pretty straightforward. So we're also rocking into the relic stage here, so you can go blink on her. Again, you can go Sunder on her. You can go Phantom Shell. I'm just going to be putting beads as a simplicity around all of my builds here because there's so much CC that is going on in the game that I don't really care to fight it. So that's what I do. With this build, we do go the Chalice and the double pot. I can put the double pot there if you guys want, like this. Then we obviously are going into Warrior's Axe at the end of it all. So Sundering Axe is really good because her blade close, it actually procs the two, especially if you're able to hit the wave and the god. It works really, really well into that aspect of it all. She is a god that I also believe that I love to run Vital Amplifier on. Where is Vital Amplifier again? You don't have to put this item first, guys. I just like it first. It does give her that little bit of attack speed, the HP, and the health speed regen. It also gives her the strength/intelligence, depending on which stat is higher. So, right, you're going to be going into a strength build, likely. So it will likely give you a strength build, right? Because of the fact that your Sundering Axe is going to be giving you strength, right? Except Warrior's Axe. From here, I think another great item that you proc is Regrow Striders, which I think is absolutely good on this chick, wherever it is. Where is Regrow Striders? Am I blind? There it is, Regrow Striders. So her 3 procs the Regrow Striders, and her ult will proc 3 Regrow Striders off her aspect. Let's make sure we click the aspect here. I think there alone is very, very strong. I think I don't know other people how they're doing their top 5s, but I think we may differentiate a little bit here. I think she's correct. We're just going to also add another thing here for situational once we get to it, so we can do that. Next item up is your Sanguine Lash, because likely you're going into a physical magical. Like I said, it's the same thing, guys. So if you guys are fighting a magical, go into Sanguine Lash first. If you're fighting a physical, go into Regrow Striders first. Pretty straightforward. Nemean, my builds don't really change much. They're pretty standard, pretty simplistic. I think Nemean is absolutely cracked, especially on Nemesis, right? She already has her 3, and then if you're able to proc Nemean on top of that, it just helps so much more. And then with her, I think she benefits a lot off cooldown. So here you go. I like to go. Where is it? It's a weird item. There it is. Freya's Tear. Actually, yeah, Freya's Tear. We'll go Freya's Tear first. And then here, instead of Contagion, it depends on what you guys are doing. I go Spirit Robe right here. So this is kind of like how I like. This item gives you so much, and then this item gives you that cooldown rate that you kind of want. But that doesn't mean that you guys can't do anything, right? Like here, you can put it in. You can put Prophetic here. Where's Prophetic? So Prophetic, if you want to be tankier, you'll want to put it somewhere in the middle of your build. You go basically Vital Amplifier, Regrowth, Prophetic, Sanguine Lash, move everything down, Nemean, and then you kind of can choose between Spirit Robes or Freya. I would choose Spirit Robe personally. And then we have your Berserker's Shield, which is pretty easy. Another item that I think a lot of people have been sleeping on is Genji's. They uber buffed this item recently. I did not know this, but they uber buffed this item. So you get 50 magical prots with 15 cooldown rate, and then your max mana regen, it basically just coincides with itself. You always have max mana. And then your passive is when you take magical damage from abilities, your cooldowns are reduced by 3 seconds. This can only occur once every 15. So it gives you 15 cooldown rate on top of the 3 seconds that it does reduce from your abilities. On a Nemesis, that item is very, very, very good. So if you don't want it to go Freya's tier, you can just, I don't know, slot Genji's here, and you're perfectly fine. You can also even, if you don't want to go Vital Amplifier, you can also slot it somewhere in the first slot. Like you can go Regrowth, Genji's, Sanguine, or Regrowth, Sanguine, Genji's, Nemean, Freya's, and then Spirit Robe. Something weird like that. It's totally up to you guys. I also think Contagion's also a good item to always put in here, so make sure you guys don't ever forget that Contagion's here, depending on the healing on their team. This item is really good because you do have to be damaged by a basic attack, right? And then if you basic attack or apply, that's what deals the damage. So you have to be able to basic attack with Contagion. You can't just expect it to do all the stacks without you basic attacking. So this is new Nem build. We're going to call it an OB15, same thing. Tank, no, damage, / tank, Nem, aspect. Save that. Eventually, here we go. So it's saved, good. Third on the list is I don't know, to me, it's kind of 50-50 with some people. I prefer Cabrakan. It's between Cabrakan and Chaac here. So for third and second, it's Cabrakan and Chaac. I personally think that some people will have Chaac here or Cabrakan here. I think Chaac is worse than Cabrakan. I don't know. Like, I'm very, very iffy here. So I'm going to put Chaac into 3 because it's a bias thing. I think I like Chaac less than Cabrakan. Cabrakan's my fave, so kind of a biasy here. But I do think it doesn't really matter which one you put here. I do non-aspect with Chaac because of the heal and the amount that you want to be tanky. I want to build this guy pure tank. There is nothing fancy about building this guy anything else. So we're going pure tank. Just so you guys are aware, the one item I do think you guys can definitely benefit off this guy is when you go into the Corrupted. So now you can actually go into your Bluestone Pendant, obviously. Sorry, guys. And then we're going into your basic start, into your Chalice. Oh, crap. I should put Chalice here. And then 2 potions. Boop. And then your Relic, again, is totally up to you guys what you guys choose to pick. I don't think it's really up to you guys. Like I said, for standardization, I'm just going to be putting beads here. That's just what I'm doing. But yeah, so we'll put the Bluestone here. Oh, crap, there it is. So I like to start off this guy with straight away. There is no Vital Amplifier for this guy. It's just straight into Regrowth Striders. Obviously, again, if you're fighting a magical, do not forget to go Sanguine Lash over. So just switch these 2 items. Pretty straightforward. If you really want to be even uber tankier, sometimes people like to go Mystical Mail here first. So you can go Mystical Mail here. I like the 2 items with him because he really gets into the fight. And with his non-aspect version, he does gain protection off his 2 when he hits multiple gods. And it stacks up to 4 times, whereas his aspect only stacks up to 2 times. I hope I'm recording all of this, because if not, I'm just talking to myself and I'm loving everything. But anyways, whatever. So after that, this is where I like to throw in that Genji's Guard, where a lot of people don't actually realize it, but I think Genji's Guard is so good. You can alternate Genji's with Nemean, because I'm still putting Nemean in the build. You can alternate these 2, so you can literally alternate these 2, or alternate these 2, or alternate these 2. Right? It's kind of a weird build, but this is super tanky chalk. Now, this is where you guys can put Spirit Robe, Glad Shield, Jotun's, Pridwin. I don't even know. There's so many items that you guys can put here. The last item is kind of this. This is kind of core on Chaac, but I think Nemean is more core than Genji's, so sorry guys, up to you guys. If you guys are finding you're fighting a lot of crit, you can throw Spectral in there, obviously. I think for the benefit, we're just going to throw Spirit Robe, because that's kind of what we're doing for most things. We'll throw all of our other items in the situational, so we'll throw Glad Shield. We'll throw, what else did I not? Pridwin. We'll throw Freya's Tears in there. We'll even throw Jotuns in there, which is kind of a weird one. That's not attack speed, that's strength. Where is Jotuns? Oh right, no, Jotuns is a physical prod item now, isn't it? There it is, hybrid. So Jotuns can go here. There's so many items you guys can throw in here. Like even situational, I'll throw in, like I said, spectral. It's a pretty good item you can put in there. Like I don't think there's a whole lot of items that really go bad here. So I think it's really just up to you guys and what you guys are feeling. Try not to go. Oh, I'll throw prophetic in there too. If you wanted to throw prophetic in between these two again, so regrowth, sanguine, prophetic. This you'll be dropping either the Nemean or the Genjis. I would probably drop the Genjis over the Nemean if you're going prophetic because it does bring that cooldown, and you know this brings the cooldown, so you kind of have to think of it that way. But Chaac is just strong. He just runs into people and he just does Chaac stuff. That's why I put him at number 3. I think he's easily compatible with level 2, but like I said, because of my bias, I think Cabrakan will be level 2 for me. So we'll save that build. I forgot to title that build, I think. Whatever. So we have Cabrakan. Cabrakan is OP. I love him. He's literally a raid boss. He isn't a whole lot different than a lot of gods right now. But he's very, very strong. So I think Cabrakan, you start off with some pretty standardized stuff. So he is another god that procs. What is it? This thing corrupted. There it is. Bluestone. So he procs Bluestone very easily. He has 5 abilities. Right? He's got his ult, his 1, his 2, both versions, and his 3. That's 5 different abilities that he can proc Bluestone on. Makes him very, very strong. Very, very good. Like I said, beads because it's just what I'm doing. I do start with the 2 potions and the chalice. You just don't really have enough stuff to be able to buy it. Like if you want, you can start with just the chalice and start with the level 1 sash. I just don't like to do that. I like the extra potions. It gives me a little bit of extra time in the lane when you can fight in the lane. So we're going into Regrowth Striders because he procs Regrowth Striders amazing. So I don't know if people know, but on your second ability on your 2, the purple version, the enhanced version, you heal yourself in Cabrakan. So it will proc the passive of Regrowth Striders. And your 1 ability, which gives you movement speed, will also proc the Regrowth Striders passive for the movement speed. Right? So this item is just so good on Cabrakan. And then, like I said, pretty straightforward. You go into your Sanguine Lash. Basically, if you guys are kind of getting the whole meta here, it's any of the people who are able to abuse the new items in the game is kind of like top of the meta right now. We're going to be going into, where is it? Mystical Mail here. Cabrakan is able to stun and keep people locked down and chase people with Regrowth Stars, so these 2 items I think are absolutely critical on him. They just add so much damage late game to him, and it's crazy. Nemean again, because Nemean, reflecting damage, you're in the fight all the time. Nemean is top tier. Here is where I kind of go a little bit weird, because you only have 2 items that can proc right now, right? I like to be going, recently I've been going Pridwin. Pridwin is actually very good. Well, I wouldn't say I go first. I definitely go Spirit Robe before Pridwin. So we'll go Spirit Robe and then Pridwin. But this is kind of like the build. Sometimes I'll throw Pridwin first. It doesn't really matter. It gives you the cooldown, which is kind of really nice late game. But the amount of damage that you're able to go in between Sanguine Lash and then you basically active your Sanguine Lash a whole bunch of time and then you Pridwin to just basically damage more people with like an explosion. It's so freaking strong. But yeah, I hope this is kind of like the build that I like to go. Obviously, situational items, guys, we'll throw in basically everything we've thrown in on every other build. So we got, where's Glad Shield? You got Prophetic. We'll throw that in there. We'll throw Freya's Tear in there. We'll throw Genji's in there. Like, I could throw literally this entire thing with him in here. I could literally throw everything in here. These are really good 5 items that I really like. I don't know what else you guys really would need to throw in here. I don't think, honestly, the rest of them are kind of eh. You could go into a Stone of Binding here, guys. It's totally situational. I do think Stone of Binding is a very good item, too. But it's totally up to you guys. I think Cabrakan, like I said, being able to lock people down with his 5 abilities. Bluestone just procs crazy. You proc your Regrowth Striders on your 1 and your 2. Sanguine Lash and Mystical Mail just doing constant AoE damage. Your Height of the Nemean, you're proccing before you go into a fight, obviously. And then your Pridwin, you're proccing as you go into a fight, or if you're about to be taking some damage by ults, you just proc your Pridwin quickly, right? I think this build is going to give you guys lots of success. I'm going to call it Raid Boss Cabrakan. So OB15, Raid Boss Cabrakan. I almost forgot how to spell it. It was just in the top left there. That's Cabrakan. Pretty straightforward. Right to the take. Now we're going to do our honorable mentions. Personally, me, I think I only have one honorable mention. However, I have seen a lot of gameplay from him recently. I just am not very good with him at all. So my first honorable mention is going to be Odin. I think Odin counters so many gods right now, and a lot of people are actually not as thinking it through as much as they think they are. I think he is able to counter, especially the number one god right now, which is actually kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so Odin is just strong. I think he's good. He's the only god in the game that gives you 100% anti-heal. Um, Basically, that's kind of what you do with him. We're going to create a build here again, obviously. We're going to be starting him with Bluestone. We're going to throw beads on him, like I said, because it's standard. You can, remember, you can go any four. Blink is one of the very few things. I think Odin is you can use Blink on him very easily. So I think it's either beads or Blink on this guy. Sundering Arc is good. Phantom Shield is whatever. I don't think you really need it. You have a leap away and everything, so I don't think it's really necessary for this dude. And then we're going into our little start, which we always do. Whatever. Do the 2 potions on that side. And then this is where I kind of go weird with him. So a lot of people don't like playing Odin. But there's a little bit of a weird thing. Since he does have some scaling, he does have hybrid scaling. Now, I like to go first item, pretty straightforward. It's physical. Obviously, if you're fighting a physical guy, you're fighting with physical. If you're fighting with a magical guy, you're going Sanguine Lash. This does not change on any of the gods. These 2 items don't really change. Now, this is where I kind of go a little bit weird. What I like to do is I like to throw Prophetic right here in the middle. Where's the Prophetic? Into a... Where is it? Sanguine Lash. There it is. Sanguine Lash. And then from there, I like to throw in Anemian. So this is my first 4 items on him. I love these first 4 items. This is where I kind of go weird. I sometimes will throw a Chronos Pen in here. It's weird. I know it doesn't look right. If you don't want to throw Chronos Pen in here, I totally understand. You could even go Pridwin, which is usually my last item, by the way, and then throw Chronos here. This is weird. The reason I say Chronos is because it reduces your ability cooldown, and it also gives you quite a bit of cooldown rate. So between Chronos, Pridwin, and your Prophetic, you're going to have your cooldowns up all the frickin' time. It's actually insane. And because you int scale, you do get quite a bit of damage off it, which is whatever. But it doesn't give you quite as much protection. That's why I kind of build it near the end of the build. I want to build up my tankiness first and then build up everything else after. So you can, excuse me, guys. You can put the Chronos Pendant in the 4 slot if you're finding that you're already kind of running through a game. I feel like that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my personal thing that I do. I like to put it either last or 5th. Situational items, as I've said, all of them are pretty honestly standard here for Odin. Where are they all? It doesn't really change. We have Phrased here. We have Spirit Robe. We have, if we're running crit, we have that. We already have Prophetic. We have... Even Breastplate isn't too bad on him. Actually, even all these items. Glad Shield's good on him. Breastplate's good on him. There's so many items in here that you can proc with this guy that's actually insane. We'll just stop at Genji's. But these 5 are just some situational items. But you guys can literally pick any item you want out of this. Like, you can go Stone of Binding. You can go Genji's over Oni's. I think Oni's is good, but I don't think it's quite as good as Genji's right now. It's good with the mitigation, but I don't know. It's up to you guys. Amarita's Charm, you can go with that if you guys want to feel a little bit more healing. I don't think it's really needed. You can go Screaming Gargoyle with the cooldown rate. Like, there's so many different items you can go in this. It just depends on your actual game that you're getting. Okay, so... Oh, I didn't save that build. Crap. Whatever. I'm going to mention one more honorable mention. I don't like him as a god, personally. It's not my favorite, but Thor. I think there's a guy going around. I think his name is Death something around. He is just cracked right now with this god. This god is just absolutely, like, he's tearing up everything with him. We're going to go into God Builder. Here we go. Create a build here. I think he's pretty standardized. Nothing too special about him. You want to go into the Bluestone, because I think that's what he does. Obviously, you want to go beads. It's kind of weird. I'm kind of anti-beads on this. I've always been going shell or something like that, but beads is so important now. Thor is one of those guys that you start off weird. You build. I believe the Death March build is, I'm not going to show it to you guys, but I'm going to put it in. So you have a lot of tankiness, but a lot of damage. You can go exactly the build you guys saw with Chaac. right? So I could go Mystical, or not Chaac. You don't want to go basically as Chaac. You just don't want to go Regrowth Striders because his 3 on his aspect does not proc his thing, and I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but it doesn't proc, and I'm not really sure why. It even says, I think, in the ability that it actually heals him, which is just, again, straight weird. So then we're going into Nemean, Pridwin, Spirit Rope. So you can kind of go into this and then pick your whatever your last item if you want. Now, you can also go into this weird Death March build that I think I've seen it like 3 times now. I've actually fought against this build a few times, and I hate going against this build. Devil's Gauntlet to start, and then you go into a tankier items, and you try to be aggressive to stack it. So Prophetic, and then you go into another strength item. So here is kind of where I've seen some 50-50. Some people go Pendulum, some people go Jotuns. I'm not really sure which one personally. I like Jotuns more than Pendulum in my own personal sake. And then I've seen a lot of people go Shifters here, but you can also go Void. So either one of these ones are really good items. It's up to you guys which one. You can also go into a, what is it? Brawlers. Sorry, Brawler Speed Stick. So but we're going to stick Shifters here. And then we're going to go into a Pendulum, because I think Pendulum is absolutely ridiculously strong, how strong that item is. And then the last item, for me personally, I go Spirit Rope. Gives you that little bit of all-round protections. You can trash the Spirit Rope and go into a more damaging item if you're finding you're already tanky enough. You can throw Heartseeker in there. You can throw Barbed Carver in there. You can throw so many items that this guy can have in his kit also. Jotuns are Beat Stick, sorry. We'll throw that in there. We'll throw Brawlers at the bottom here. We'll throw Heartseeker. We'll throw Glad Shield. We'll throw... Bro, he's so good with so many items. Shield of the Phoenix is a great item to put in. Freya's tier. We'll just maybe stop it at that. Now probably go Void Shield as well. Where's Void Shield? Void Shield is very good here. Honestly, you can go Pridwin in here. Another thing that I really want to mention here is we'll probably drop this thing out of here. And we'll throw in... Where is it? Where is it? Where's Gauntlet of Thebes? I cannot find Gauntlet of Thebes. I'll just type it. What the hell? There it is, Gauntlet of Thebes. And then we'll throw Brawlers at the end here. So this item, it gives you so much HP, so if you want to throw it at the end of your build just to kind of give that tankiness, and if you're running Aspect, his 3, you heal off the percentage of your HP, which is why I think he's very good. So I do think he's gotten a lot lower than last OB fit or OB14, and the reason I say that is because he doesn't abuse the items as well, right? He doesn't abuse Regrowth. Mystical Mail and Sanguine, basically anybody can abuse those, but Regrowth is a really good item. He doesn't abuse it. He kind of goes into this type of a build. We're going to throw this up here. We're going to call it Powerhouse. First of all, it'll be 15. Powerhouse Damage Tanky Thor Aspect, I guess, is what we'll throw. And we'll save this one. So that's number 2 of my honorable mentions list. And then, yeah, to me, number 1, this is probably the most biased opinion. Actually, it's not biased at all. I think it's Hercules. Number 1 in solo is Hercules right now. He is cracked. He is so strong, even through the nerfs and the nerfs on the items. He is so good, and he just builds so well into so many items. It's insane. The same builds that you guys have kind of seen is very, very strong. I've been going a little bit of a different build than a lot of people. So you never run his aspects. We're going to God Builder here. We'll pull up the Corrupted Bluestone because I think it's really good on him. You go Beads on him, which I don't know why I keep wanting to put in that bottom tier. And then you'll rock your Health Potion. Actually, and this one is the one I don't rock Health Potion. Right. This one we just do. I think it ends up being 3 potions. I think it ends up being. I think. Might be wrong by that, but I'm pretty sure it ends up being. Because I actually rush Pendulum Blade. So we are throwing in the axe here. Where is it? 450? I think you can afford all of this. I'm pretty sure you can with the axe and this. I rush Pendulum Blade. I think this item on him is absolutely OP. It gives you that excess cooldowns where you can bring him, you can constantly 2-1 into your tower. You can get your ult up faster. You can get your heal going off faster, which again, obviously everybody knows the next item then if I'm talking about the heal. It's Regrowth Striders. This item on him is so good. It procs on his 3, and his 3 is just always up. It gives you that movement speed. It gives you that heal. It's just good. This item, if you don't build it on Hercules in a solo lane, you're throwing. Regrowth Strategist is so good. And then to even out with the thing, we're going Sanguine Lash. So you don't have to go Mystical Mail here. I would go Sanguine Lash because you already got the physical prots from Regrowth Strategist, and you don't want to keep just dumping it into physical prots, right? If you're going into a more tankier build, this is what I would go. And then from here, obviously, the build should be pretty straightforward with you guys. Nemean shouldn't be too out there, in my opinion. And then from there, you're going into a Freya's Tier, which, in my opinion, you want CDR on Hercules. So CDR, CDR, CDR. Pretty straightforward, right? I think it's really strong. And then to even out the build at the very end, Spirit Rope. This gives you guys, like, I'll see if you can see the stats here. So it gives you 200 Fizz Prots, 130 Magical Prots, 138 Magical Prots with 3,200 HP, with 100 Strength. So you are hitting really hard with this build, and you're able to stay very much alive with a 45 cooldown rate. Do you see this? So, like, this is insane. Actually kind of nuts. We'll put situational items, obviously. Again, situational. I don't think he changes too much with situational. I do think he does benefit from another few items that maybe you guys I don't mention here. But we'll see how it goes. We'll grab the first item. So Mystical Mail, you can grab it on him. You know, the Sanguine Lash Mystical Mail I think is very good. I just think I prefer Regrowth into Nemean better. Just a personal preference. I have seen a lot of people go this Mystical Mail, and his damage output is insane. Plain simple. Another really good option is the Breastplate. So if you guys didn't know, they changed Breastplate in this last patch. It's when you lose 500 plus 25 per level. So it is quite a high amount of HP you have to lose at the end game, but you're constantly regenerating it with the Hercules. So it's not a big deal with Regrowth Striders. It works out to, I think, to be about like 15, what is it, 25 level HP your ability, 25 per level. So 25 times 20, I don't know what. So it works to be about 1,000 HP, 950 HP, give or take, that you have to lose. And then you also get the self-healing, right? So 25% of self-healing from your abilities also contributes towards lost health. So it's still very good on him. I think he's probably one of the very few gods that can use it. I think him, Chaac, and maybe Guan Yu were actually pretty good at using it. Maybe Cabrakan. Maybe Cabrakan. We're going to go into a Genji's, wherever the heck Genji's is. Genji's is an amazing situational item because of the cooldown. Like I said, if you guys can kind of see this cooldown, you can guys kind of guess. Pridwin is great, cooldown. All of these items are very, very strong on him. This build is insane. Like, I'm going to put OB 15, Herc, meta, actually I don't even say Herc, raid, boss, solo, lane. Yeah, solo lane. I don't know. We'll just say raid boss, solo lane. It's pretty simple. Don't go aspect. This is Herc in a nutshell. You have his 1 to push, 2 to pull, 3 to heal, 4 to rock. That rock does insane damage without even building strength. Like, it's like base damage. It's like 5 to 600 HP. Like, if you're hitting a support with a 400 damage ultimate, and you can bounce it off walls to hit maybe twice, so it's 800, that's insane. On top of that, being extremely tanky and constantly having your cooldowns up and doing so much damage. We'll save that build here. That is the top 5, right? So you have Bellona at 5, Nemesis at 4, Chaac at 3, Cabrakan at 2, Herc at 1, with a couple honorable mentions in there. None of these gods are honestly all that bad. Achilles I would never put up here. I think another good one is Sun Wukong. You can play him. I just don't think he's all that great right now. But that is going to be it for the top 5 solo lane guys. I play it quite a bit recently. It's literally what I've been basically only getting in ranked. And I've literally, if Hercules is not banned, I pick Hercules. If Chaac is not banned, but Hercules is banned, I pick Chaac or Cabrakan. It's kind of like who I've just been playing. I've been running a lot of Nem too, so just so you guys are aware. But that's the top 5 for solo. I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave comment, sub, hit all the like stuff. And I will see you guys in the next top 5, which should be likely going to be middle or support. I'm not really sure which one. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and when it comes out, give me that like, give me the sub, and I will keep going with all the content. I really want to keep giving you guys educational content. It's kind of what I'm about, is really trying to get the educational out to the lower members, the casuals, and the lower rank people, because I'm not a deity rank god. I'm not an ex-professional. I'm not a competitive player. I just want to get the content up to those people who will watch it. So, again, I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.